was chewing on us, but so we maneuvered out of the way there, and now we're chewing on him. Greetings and salutations, fellow pilots. This is Akirishin. So, I have gotten the XF-85 Goblin, and I'm going to be featuring it in this video for you. And it is a beaut of a plane. Little light on the armaments, but otherwise an excellent plane. Very interesting looking as well. So the Goblin, it has 4 50 cals on it. Now, you know, it obviously would be nice if it had some cannons, but at a minimum, you would want it to have 6 50 calibers. Unfortunately, it doesn't, but it would certainly be nice if it did. Let's see here, the F-86A, it has 6 50 cals. So, you would hope that the XF-85 would have 6 as well, but alas, it does not. But you can't have everything. What we do have on this aircraft is high airspeed, and it accelerates quickly when boosting. And the airspeed is just really nice on this aircraft. I mean, you can usually keep up with the heavies. Now, what it does not have is a very good boost. It's only got a 6-second boost, which is kind of disappointing. That's, you know, Japanese fighter length of boost, but it does have good airspeed, good maneuverability, certainly not high maneuverability. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Very effective in intercepting aircraft at high altitude, and that is for sure. This aircraft can climb big time. And let's see here, take a look at the stats. Optimum altitude, 2,600 meters. It can really get up there, and it's got a good rate of climb, 174 meters per second. That's good. Stall speed 200, and that could be a little better. Optimum airspeed 525 kilometers per hour. 900 kilometers per hour on top speed at best altitude, 950 on the dive. So excellent airspeed for a fighter. Average time to turn 360 degrees, 10 seconds. So not great, but not abysmal either. And we have some upgrades and pilot skills that will help with the maneuvering there. Rate of roll 180 degrees per second. Now, the area this aircraft has the most to gain from is in maneuverability. You already have high airspeed, so there's, you know, that's only going to improve so much. There's room to improve, but you have a lot more room with maneuverability. So I've equipped light airframe 4, 3% maneuverability in all axes increase there. Control surface adjustment 4, which increases maneuverability in turns by 3%. And then to keep our airspeed up and turns and on the climb, I've equipped engine tuning 4, which increases engine power by 5%. In terms of pilot skills, I've tried to work on both our airspeed and our maneuverability. And because, you know, this came with a 9-point captain, I was able to get Engine Guru 1 and Engine Guru 2, which increases engine thrust by 5%. So that's, you know, our ability to get away when we need to get distance from maybe a turn and burn fighter. So that's very important. And then increases our top speed by 2%. And then also selected Aerodynamics Expert, and that enhances by 40% the effects of all three of our upgrades. I'm really big on having good synergy between our upgrades and our pilot skills. So lightweight airframe, controlled surface adjustment, and engine tuning, all improved by Aerodynamics Expert. And then also I've selected Aerobatics Expert, which increases maneuverability in all axes by 2%. So it's a very blended build, very well rounded, I think, is a good way to describe this build. Ammunition, we're using universal ammunition, which has a high chance of fire and a medium to low chance of critical damage. If you wanted a higher chance of fire, you could go with the high explosive incendiary. Looks like I have 24 of those in the depot, so I could equip that. I haven't. I've gone with universal though, so I know a lot of you prefer the universal ammunition and don't like the gold. In terms of consumables, we've got a vulnerable engine, so I of course chose automatic engine restarter. This aircraft is squishy, so I don't want it catching on fire and it sticking forever, so I got automatic fire extinguisher and control surface auto trim. You know, I debated between that and the first aid kit. I think either one of those would be a good choice there, and sometimes I lean more towards the first aid kit. All three of those are gold consumables with 60-second cooldowns and activate automatically. Their non-gold versions have 90-second cooldowns and activate manually. Looking at paint schemes, this is summer, winter, desert, and marine. It does come with this nose art, but you know, for whatever reason, I liked where is it? It's hiding. I like this better, but we could certainly equip that as well. I'll do that. And also in terms of paint schemes, you know, I chose these because I like the extra 10% concealment with the environment appropriate paint scheme. But this is actually the really neat paint scheme that it has that you could equip, but you don't get the 10% concealment with that. Too bad. It would be nice. Alright, so what I am going to do now is head over to World of Warplanes website, take a look at their compare aircraft tool. And what I'm going to be comparing to is not all tier 9 fighters, but I'm going to focus on the machine gun based fighters and compare this to those, and also to any high altitude fighters. Not going to compare it to any low or even mid altitude fighters. So let's do that now. Alright, so we are here on World of Warplanes website, and I have assembled various tier 9 fighters to compare against the Goblin, and the fighters I have selected all are characterized by at least high altitude flight. Now, from the outset, I can tell you that all of the aircraft that we will be comparing to the Goblin outgun the Goblin. It's not even really a particularly close competition. So you may assume that all of these tier 9 fighters outgun the Goblin. So where we will really be focusing our attention is on other aspects of these aircraft, maneuverability, the altitude they're capable of, their speed, those statistics are what we are most concerned with. So first up, we have the Supermarine Attacker, and we have the Tachikawa Kai 162I. Now, in terms of survivability, the Goblin is outclassed by both the Attacker and the Tachikawa Kai 162I. Now, for whatever reason, the tag on the Kai 162 is red, but as you can plainly see, it is a plus, so there is a plus 30 in hit points as compared to the Goblin for the Kai 162 and a plus 90 hit points for the Attacker. Top speed at best altitude. The Goblin is 40 kilometers per hour faster than the Kai 162, whereas it is 40 kilometers per hour slower than the Attacker. And that's, important to note because the Attacker has some pretty severe armaments, and it can outrun the Goblin. Important to note. Same thing on the dive. If you're in the Goblin, you're going to dive faster than the Kai 162, but the Attacker has 100 kilometers per hour on the Goblin. So you're not going to get away from the Attacker in the Goblin by diving. Maneuverability. Time to turn 360 degrees. The Goblin and the Attacker, the same. 10.3 seconds. With our maneuverability upgrades, we get the Goblin down to 10 seconds. The Kai 162, however, has a 0.7 second advantage over the Goblin. Rate of roll. The Goblin will roll better than either the Attacker or the Kai 162. Optimum airspeed. 53 kilometers per hour faster for the Attacker, 45 kilometers per hour slower for the Kai 162. Stall speed, the Attacker will stall prior to the Goblin. The Goblin and the Kai 162 will stall at the same time. Optimum altitude. Here is where the Goblin has the decided advantage. It has a 600 meter advantage over the Attacker. It has a 700 meter advantage over the Kai 162. Pretty important there. Also, the Goblin is going to climb at a faster rate than either the Attacker or the Kai 162. So if you're in the Goblin and you're being confronted by either the Attacker or the Kai 162, I would say climb and keep going, and you will outpace and out-altitude the Attacker and the Kai 162. Alright, so moving on. Next up we have the North American FJ-1 Fury. It has 6 50 caliber machine guns versus the 4 50 caliber machine guns of the Goblin. So let's see if there are any other places where the Goblin makes up for that deficiency as compared to the FJ-1. Also, of course, we'll be comparing the Vought F6U Pirate. In terms of survivability, both the FJ-1 and the F6U have 100-point advantages over the Goblin. So more survivable are the FJ1 and the F6U as compared to the Goblin. Top speed at best altitude, the same for the FJ1 and the Goblin. 50 kilometers per hour faster for the F6U as compared to the Goblin. Maximum dive speed, again the FJ1 and the F6U outdiving the Goblin. Average time to turn 360 degrees, the FJ1 and the Goblin are the same. However, the Goblin has a 2.2 second advantage over the F6U, so that's of course a lifetime in a turning dogfight. Rate of roll, again the Goblin better at rolling than either the FJ1 or the F6U. Optimum airspeed, the FJ1 and the Goblin the same. The F6U is slightly superior at 53 kilometers per hour. Stall speed is the same for all three aircraft. Optimum altitude the same for the FJ1 and the Goblin, whereas the F6U has a 600 meter disadvantage as compared to the Goblin. The Goblin has a better rate of climb than either the FJ1 or the F6U. So looking at these stats between the FJ1 and the XF-85 Goblin, which would you choose? It appears to be a very clear choice in the FJ1 over the Goblin. The FJ1 has better armaments, it has more survivability, it has the same turning ability. It only lacks in roll and in rate of climb. All right, moving on. We have the Focke-Wulf TA-183 Huckabeen and the Messerschmitt MEP-1092. In terms of survivability, again, both the TA-183 and the MEP-1092 more survivable than the Goblin. Top speed at best altitude, the TA-183, 20 kilometers per hour faster. The MEP-1092, 20 kilometers per hour slower than the Goblin. Maximum dive speed, both the German aircraft will dive faster than the Goblin. Now, this is where the Goblin has the advantage over these German aircraft, and that is in turning time. And the Goblin has a 1.7 second advantage over the TA-183 and a 0.5 second advantage over the MEP-1092. Rate of roll, again, Goblin better than the German aircraft. Optimum airspeed, both the German aircraft faster in that category than the Goblin. In terms of stall speed, the TA-183 and the MEP-1092 will both stall prior to the Goblin stalling. Optimum altitude, the Goblin has a 100 meter advantage over the German aircraft, which is, that's not all that significant. Rate of climb, again, the Goblin is just very good at climbing as compared to almost all these aircraft. So, does basically the key advantage the Goblin has as compared to these aircraft is its turning time. And whether that's enough for you to choose the Goblin over those German aircraft, only you can decide. But, you know, of course, if you get into that turning dogfight, it doesn't matter how powerful the guns on the TA-183 or the MEP-1092 are as compared to the Goblin. If they can't get their guns on the Goblin because the Goblin is out turning them, well, there you have it. All right. Next up, we have the Mikoyan Garevich MiG-9 and the Lovakin LA-160, both Russian aircraft, of course. And in terms of survivability, both Russian aircraft are more survivable than the Goblin. Top speed at best altitude, the MiG-9 has 40 kilometers per hour on the Goblin. The Goblin and the LA-160 are the same. Both the Russian aircraft will outdive the Goblin, so no escape there by the Goblin from these Russian aircraft. Time to turn 360 degrees. The Goblin will outturn the MiG-9 by 0.5 seconds. However, the LA-60 will outturn the Goblin by 0.7 seconds. Stall speed, the same for the MiG-9 and the Goblin. The Goblin will stall prior to the LA-160 stalling. Optimum altitude, the Goblin has a 100 meter advantage over the MiG-9. It has a 1,000 meter advantage over the LA-160, which I suppose we perhaps shouldn't have even included the LA-60 in this analysis, given it's a medium altitude fighter. Rate of climb, again, the Goblin, the king of rate of climb. Alright, so I hope that helps put the Goblin in perspective with its similar altitude Tier 9 fighters, with the exception of the LA-160 there. And, you know, you really can't escape the conclusion that the Goblin is a bit outclassed. Nonetheless, a really fun aircraft to fly, and I'm certainly not saying don't get it, but just know what it is you're getting as compared to its competitors. Alright folks, so having gone over my build for this aircraft and its specifications, as well as compared it to other certain other Tier 9 fighters, let's head into a battle and see how it actually performs. So we'll be in the XF-85,
hit the enemy, and we shall win.
Fighting over the northern bridgehead Birds of Prey theater of operation. Head first to the garrison here, and then on to the airbase at center map.
Show me what you can do, pilots. Let's roll.
Got a 6-second boost. And that thing I would describe as, well, cute. For lack of a better word, that's what it is. It's like a little puppy. Whoa. Hello. Where'd it go? Guys are crowded over this objective. Alright, so we've got a multi-role over here. A heavy fighter over there. Looks like it might be coming at us. Nope. F4. Yeah, that was chewing on us, but looks like we maneuvered out of the way there. And now we're chewing on him. Goodbye. Okay, just J7 coming in. Definitely something we need to get rid of. The thing I find with these J7s a lot of times is they're easy to go past. They're kind of a slow aircraft, I've found. Ugh, something hit me hard. And I am just trying to maneuver for survival here. Yep. Okay. Need to take this airfield. Looks like the enemy team is starting to concentrate on our garrison over there. What is that? ME? German fighter there. Fast fighter. Finally. That's hard work. Gotcha. What's that? Is that probably that aircraft I shot down earlier? That's a good one to shoot down because, man, that thing has a powerful cannon. Hear that? That thing is vicious. Our teammate here out, hopefully. Roll coming in. J7. was close. And we definitely need to do something with this.
Be advised, a line of thunderstorms is approaching. We'll soon be unable to provide support. Do you copy? Over.
Let's take out this multi-roll here real quick. And then we'll deal with the ground attack aircraft. Gotcha. Alright. Yay! Alright, what do we have here? Heavy fighter.
Step it up. We're losing the battle.
We get to him?
We cannot support you any longer. The storm is too heavy. Do you copy? Over.
Am I not leading enough here? What the heck? We're staying up with him. Let our machine guns cool down there a little bit. Almost got him. He hasn't been able to shake us speed-wise. So that speaks to the speed capabilities of this aircraft.
Attention, all aircraft.
No!
Regroup.
I really wanted to take him out. So close. So close. Alright, so Guardian, Flying Guardian badge, Conqueror, #1 spot on the team, 4 chevrons on the grade rank, effective fire, and flying start. Let's head back and see how we did on the after action report. Okay, so our little Goblin here, 13 kills, over 3,700 in damaged aerial targets. 8 of those were while defending. See if we picked up any other medals. Nope, still the same. And let's see here, over 9,300 in combat points. So very good. And we had Captain Chaos on the other side. Very nice. #1 spot on the enemy team there. How'd you do, Captain? Let's see here. 8 kills, over 3,100 in damage. Very good. 4 assists also. Alright, good flying with Captain there. And let's see, what did we do here in terms of XP? It was a loss, but we still got 4,400 in XP and 221 in free XP. And then 200, almost 300,000 in coins, so not bad for losing there. Anyway, so good, obviously a defeat, but not because of this aircraft. It performed very well, I thought. Tons of fun to fly. Yeah, armaments underpowered, agreed. At a minimum, it could certainly use 2 more machine guns, but that is what it is. I suppose one of the good things about this aircraft is it's just so fast, still pretty agile, so you've got to take that into consideration in taking a look at the armaments, the deficiency in the armaments. But just a lot of fun to fly there. Alright, so I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you get an opportunity to fly the XF-85, I hope you have tremendous success in it.